Hello. Yeah, Sonu, you're saying something? You have raised your hand. Hello, everyone. No, the session has not started. I'll be starting it now. And Sonu will have someone to help you out with the fees. We'll first discuss what the course is about. And at the end of the session, I'll, open the mics for all of you so that, if you have any kind of questions, so that will be answered, right? I am opening the mics for everyone. You can keep yourself on mute for now. We'll discuss about the course. And at the end of the session, whatever questions you have, you can ask me. We'll also have someone from the faculty team and sales team. They will help you out with the fees or class timings or whatever other questions you have. Shubham, you have something to say?
No, ma'am.
All right, you can just put yourself on mute for time being.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if someone wants to communicate with me, you can, unmute your mics. I have given you permission to unmute your mic. Otherwise, you can keep yourself on mute so that it doesn't disturb the session. Fair enough? Yes, Aditya? So you have the button to unmute yourself. Unless and until you have something to say, do not unmute yourself. It is quite disturbing. Okay, we'll start the session. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Meenal Khona. I have studied chartered accountancy, that is CA. I have done MCom. I have been in the industry since last almost 12 plus years now. I have worked with several chartered accountants. I have been practicing with my own. I have my own client base. I am a faculty with EduPristine, a trainer with EduPristine since last almost 4 plus years now. I have been a corporate trainer since a very long time now, like almost 5 plus years, wherein I have been a trainer for several MNCs like Wipro. I have been working with Intuit Corporation, that is a US company. I'm also trainer for central government officers, especially for GST and income tax. So when GST was launched, I was one of the trainers on board. So that is about me. Now I welcome all of you. So today we have met here to discuss about the postgraduate program of Business Accounting and Taxation, that is BAT. Now, why do we require BAT? That should be the very first question. Like, why should I do this course? That would be the first question in your mind. Now, why do we require a, to do any course? The very first, to start with, most of you would have already completed your colleges, or you would be still in your degree colleges, or you will be working, right? You must be working somewhere. Now, what is the scope after you have completed your studies? Now, while you're studying, right, you have done your degree courses. What is the importance of doing that degree course and getting a job? Would you directly get a job after completing your degree? So today, the scenario, we all know what the situation is. Like the COVID-19 situation has really, affected several, at several places, even the financial place, that is the financial industry, even that is affected. Usually we say that the accountants never go out of work. You are always going to get work, right? But that is not always the case. Why so? Because of the skill. You have several people who are, getting a degree every year. After the degree, they may be doing some professional course. Say you're doing chartered accountancy, you're doing company secretary or cost accountancy, MBA. Now, when you're doing professional courses, usually you get a job directly to that position. So the range is a little higher because you have a professional degree. Now, what if you don't have a professional degree? In that case, you need to have skill. You need to learn what is happening in the actual market. Now, you have learned the theory in your degree college, but you have not learned everything, even in theory. Say, if I talk about accounts, then you wouldn't know how finalization works. If I talk about, say, some software like say Tally, Busy is accounting software. SAP. Now SAP dominates the market for MNCs, manufacturing companies. SAP is a very important software which you should know. Most of the companies which hire people, even if they hire freshers, okay, they have an expectation that they should know something about the software. At least the basic skills are required. So the whole idea of this course, Accounting and Taxation, that is a BAT course. The whole idea of this course is that can we polish your skills? You have already learned some part of the theory, but there is so much in theory which still needs to be covered. After your theory, you have no idea of how practical market works. So we have focused in this course also the practical part of whatever you're learning in theory. If I talk about, say, writing accounts, so that is you're learning accounts on Tally. Okay, now when you're learning accounts on Tally, you should practically know how Tally works. How do you do the accounting? How do you reach the finalization stage? How do you close the books? So that is the practical aspect of learning something that is covered in this course. Now, if you see today's what kind of jobs are offered, so like I told you, even if you know you're a fresher, you just have a degree, you have just done a degree, right? You have no experience about how market works. But most of the employers are interested in hiring someone who has at least some knowledge about the work so that it saves their time and energy to teach him from this beginning. Now, it wouldn't be feasible even for the employer to teach you everything. He's not going to teach you everything. Most of the jobs available right now in the market are skilled jobs. You may have a degree, but you will require some skill. You will need to learn what happens practically. How do you work around? How does things take place? Say you're talking about writing accounts, you're talking about GST, you're talking about TDS income tax. You should know how it works practically. Now, if you just read this, there's one example of what kind of jobs are offered for accountants or available for accountants. Now, here it says the qualification is BCom, MCom, or a MBA Finance. Again, the experience is 2 to 4 years. Now, what if you don't have experience? You have a BCom degree, but you don't have experience. In that case, if you have a skill to do that work, you will be given importance. If you know how to do that work, if you know how to manage accounts, you know how to finalize accounts, write accounts on a software, say it is Tally or SAP, you know how income tax works, how income tax returns are filed, how TDS returns are filed. That will help you have an upper hand against a person who is applying with a simple BCom degree as a fresher who doesn't have a skill. So if you do this course, the course is very well planned with theory plus practical. The focus is more on the practical aspect so that if you go in the real market, you should know how the real industry works. Now, what can be the kind of salaries which are offered at present? So usually the kind of salaries which are offered are on position basis. On what designation are you working on? It starts somewhere around 10K, and as you grow in your career, as you get promotions, as you get promoted to a higher designations, your salary is going to increase. But to increase your salary, it would be very important to polish your skills. If you do not have that skill, that promotion would not would be difficult, would really be difficult. If you are skilled, if you're skilled enough, and you can get a direct jump to a higher position. If you know how to, till finalization, or how a certain designation, or how a certain, say for example, executive accountant. Now the executive accountant must be maintaining full accounts. He won't be in a position of only writing entries. Now if you are at an executive level, that is executive accounts level, you're just feeding in data, you're just writing accounts. Now there is not much scope in just passing transactions or recording transactions. With time you will have to improve your skill, you will have to push yourself up, so that you can handle writing accounts, finalization, income tax, GST or TDS, uh, writing accounts on SAP. Then you have Busy software. Okay, Busy is an accounting software which is very famous, especially in Delhi, Gurgaon area. It's a very Mumbai is dominant. Like if you are in Mumbai we hear more of Tally, right? The same way if you go to Delhi side or the North India side, there you will hear more of Busy accounting software. Now, this are Busy software has a very good tedious software too, which is used by several chartered accountants even here in India. Several accountants and chartered accountants use a Busy tedious software too. It's a very uh, integrate and very nice software, which will give you a upper hand if you already know the software, if you learn the software. Now, most of the roles are dominated by professionals, which I already mentioned, that the CA, MBAs, or BBAs. Now, these are all professional degrees. When given a chance, okay, when the employer has a chance to select between a BCom and a chartered accountant, obviously he's going to choose a chartered accountant only if he gets a chartered accountant in the same pay range. But if the chartered accountant is asking for a higher pay range, he would opt for a BCom. In that case, you need to have a skill. If you simply have a college degree, that will not work. That cannot work because there are several people who are applying for that job with just a BCom degree or just your MCom degree. Now, by just doing BCom or MCom, you're not polished. You don't have that much of theory or practical knowledge. I mean, practical knowledge is completely nil. Even, if you go to see the Mumbai University, if I just talk about Mumbai University course is not updated. Even if you talk about simply income tax, now those who have done income tax, those who have taken income tax in their TY BCom would know that you are writing your accounts, or you're solving your questions on income tax based on the older slabs and not the newer ones. Whatever we do in the class will be all updated, will teach you how to upgrade yourself, how to learn if something changes. For example, GST. In GST, you must be aware of GST. Now, GST had launched in 2017. Okay. Since the time GST was launched in 2017, and today we are in 2020, so much has changed in GST. GST Act was implemented, but after the Act was implemented, there were so many amendments which were made. There were so many changes which came around in GST. Right. But if you have no idea about how GST works, what is GST? Why do if you go to buy something from a shop, you are paying SGST and CGST. That is a state GST, state goods and service tax. CGST is central goods and service tax. But why are you paying that? What is the percentage which you need to pay? How do you get, if you had a business, how do you get registered under GST? How does the returns work? Now, there are monthly or quarterly returns to be filed, the annual returns to be filed in GST. But how do you do that? That is a practical aspect of GST. But you need to have some certification. You need so that the employer gives you the importance that yeah, you have learned something and you have knowledge, or you are skilled enough to handle that job. Now GST has, like I told you, it's a vast subject. GST has changed to an extent. From 2017 to 2020, we are still growing in GST. Still, every month we still keep getting several notifications and changes in GST. But how do you learn that? Uh, First you need to learn the basic of GST, like, what is GST? How does it work? What are the rates? What is the meaning of supply? When you talk about rates, say 0%, 5%, or 12%, like, where is it applicable? On what? If you go to a restaurant today, that restaurant is going to charge you 5%. Now, why is the restaurant charging you 5%? If I go to a five-star hotel, that is going to charge me 12% or 18%. Now, why that change? Now, for all this, you need to learn how it works. The written filing, I already told you how the written filing works. There are monthly returns, quarterly returns. There is an annual return for GST. Now, how does the preparation of GST return work? How do you file that return? That is a part of this course. Then there is Busy software, which I just spoke about. Now, Busy is a accounting software. It's very similar to Tally. Now, Tally dominates almost 75 to 80% of the market for small scale traders. But at the same time, Busy software dominates the market if you go to North Indian states, Busy accounting software. Then there is a Busy TDS software. Now, Busy TDS software is used by several people all over India. Again, it is a requirement. It shows, when you write it on your CV, on your resume, that, you have knowledge of several softwares. It gives you a extra benefit, extra points, that you have knowledge of something extra than someone else who is applying as a fresher. You have an upper hand there. Then you have SAP. Now, SAP is dominated by uh, manufacturing firms, corporates. Most of the corporates you will find use SAP. SAP is a very huge software, but the accounting part, the FICO, that is the finance control, FICO part is very, very important for the from a accounts point of view, from a finance point of view. You will not find, to someone to learn SAP very easily. It is a very integrate and very huge software, but at the same time, it is a very productive software. Uh, in both the senses, as an employer, SAP can hold data to very high level. Okay, it can hold data. If you have a very huge turnover, okay, then SAP would be a very, very, very best software in the market today to write your accounts, to maintain your accounts and other things on SAP. From an employee point of view, even if you are working at the in a lowest department, like, even at an entry level, even if you are working at the entry level in SAP, usually the companies offer you a very good packages because you're working for a MNC, you're working for a corporate. And SAP being a very integrate and huge software, they're very well aware of what is the requirement. You should be perfect, or you should have sufficient knowledge to work around in SAP. Otherwise, the employers do not like to hire freshers. Very often you will find that, if some profile in SAP asks you, okay, I have a requirement to write accounts on SAP, may it be accounts payable or accounts receivable, but very often they opt for people who already know the software, because even a single mistake in SAP is an issue. Okay, like it's not like Tally wherein you just delete off that entry and you can go ahead. It doesn't work that way in SAP. You can't just after you have passed a transaction, you have recorded a transaction, it does not allow you to delete it instantly. You will have to take permission from your higher authority, and only he has a password or a code to delete that transaction, that if something has gone wrong. So at the entry level, you are only passing the transaction. Even if you are only passing the transactions, that is, you will be offered a very good packages, especially for SAP, with respect to SAP. Now, there are, okay, Aditya, are you saying something? Aditya, you have just raised your hand. You can unmute yourself and talk to me if you wish to. Okay, I can go ahead. All right. Now, like I told you, industry is dominated with freshers, right? The industry is dominated with you have several freshers coming in the market every year. Every year you have degree people coming in the market. But what is the upper hand you can have with comparing to that fresher? So that is to do some course, to get your skills polished, to learn something new, so that it adds to your CV, so that it looks good on your resume, right? Now, how is the BAT course planned in? Now, like I mentioned, like finalization. So we are going to start with the basics of accounting and accounting on Tally. How do you write accounts on Tally? How do you work around with GST, with the practical aspects on GST? That is, practically, if I had to write accounts with GST on Tally, how do I do that? How do I prepare my returns? How do I file my returns? The third module is your income tax and TDS module. That is, what are my theory part? That is, what is income tax? How do I make a computation of income tax return? What are the different kind of income tax returns? How do I prepare my returns? How do I file my returns? What are the transactions which are important to be passed in my accounts with respect to income tax? TDS. Now, TDS, you must have heard the term TDS payable, TDS receivable. Now, these are very, interesting concepts, words, because even in interviews, many a times the interviewer does ask, throw you a question that what is TDS payable? What is TDS receivable? What is accounts payable? What is accounts receivable? Now, most of the people are unaware of the differences between all of these concepts. That what is accounts payable? Now, accounts payable are my creditors. What is accounts receivable? Accounts receivables are my debtors. What is TDS payable? Now, TDS payables are TDS deducted for my creditors. What is TDS receivable? Now, TDS receivable is what my debtor has paid me after deducting TDS. Now, these are very important concepts which were not covered till your degree. Most of the people will be unaware of what is the difference between all of this. How do you pass transactions for such kind of uh, entries? How do you record those transactions on any of the software? How does the TDS returns work? Now, TDS are the quarterly returns. We usually file quarterly returns. The TDS payments are made on monthly basis. So how does the TDS payments work? How does the TDS returns work? How do you prepare your TDS returns? So this we are going to cover in your income tax and TDS module. Then you have the payroll module. Payroll module is most of the corporates, MNCs have payroll softwares wherein they are maintaining, they have several employees, right? They must be having thousands of employees. Now you're paying salary every month to thousands of employees. That needs to be recorded somewhere, right? So that is maintained on payroll. So how does the payroll work? What do you mean by the CTC? Cost to company. Now CTC are the components of payroll. So that is your module 4. Excel for accounting MIS reports. Now you will find that there are several corporates, several MNCs who hire people specially just for MIS. That is just to maintain their reporting. They maintain their reports either from the software or on Excel. So just to maintain your reporting part, how does that work? So since it is a corporate, it is a MNC, it has a huge turnover. So every almost every day or every month, you have several reports to be generated, and therefore they hire. Especially, they need to hire people just to work on your MIS reporting. Finalization of financial statements. That is the finalization I was talking about. You need to know how the finalization of accounts take place. Now, till your TY, you have learned how to pass transactions, but you don't know how to close your books. How do you finalize it? What are your closing entries, year end entries? What are the adjustments to be made? Now, for a proprietor, for a company, for a partnership firm, finalization may change. The requirement of account, year end entries may change. So, what are those changes and how does finalization take place? How does the vertical balance sheet work? Now, in companies, it is compulsory to maintain your financial statements, to present your financial statements in vertical format. So, in your module 6, that is finalization of financial statements, here we are going to cover how your vertical finalization works, how your vertical balance sheet works. How do you prepare your vertical balance sheet? Now, most of the people prepare their vertical balance sheet in Excel. So for that, you need to learn how Excel works. There are several formulas even in Excel to be learned.
Yeah, excuse me, I have a doubt on
Yeah,
this.
tell.
So, yeah, does all these modules come under BAT and at one
Yes,
go?
yes, right. They do.
Okay.
So whatever modules I'm explaining are a part of your BAT course. So they form a part of your BAT course. So your 7th module is your busy software. Okay, so we will be practically doing case studies on real life situations, like how can you write accounts on your busy, how do you prepare your financial accounts, financial statements using the busy software. And your 8th module is the SAP module. SAP, like I told you, the FICO for accounts. With respect to accountancy, the FICO module is very important. That is finance and control. Now, you will come across in the market that SAP has several other modules, several other parts of SAP, because SAP being a very huge software. So you have the HR module, you have the module, you have the FICO module, and so on. You have several modules in SAP. But with respect to accounts, the FICO module is very important for us. So we are going to learn the FICO module, that is the finance and control module. That is how do you write accounts practically on SAP. So if you're applying for some company and if you're polished enough, okay, if you have a certification saying, okay, I have done SAP and I have knowledge about SAP, in that case, you will be given a upper hand compared to a fresher or compared to someone who has not done, who doesn't have sufficient knowledge on the subject. Because you will come across definitely in the market over the years, even my personal experience has been that people prefer, employers prefer to hire someone who already has knowledge. At least he is skilled enough to handle that work. They're not willing to, put in time and energy to teach you. That is one side of it. What is the plus point for you? The plus point for you is that since you're skilled, you're you can negotiate for a higher pay package. Since that person is not willing to offer that job to a fresher, you will be given an upper hand, and therefore you will have a better scope to negotiate. Now, how does this resume making work? That is your CV. How do you prepare your CV and make it more impressive or more to the point so that the employer is interested in giving you a chance, at least for in the first stage? Because in the very first stage, whenever you are hiring uh, for a job, what happens is the employer is looking at your resume. He has never met you, so your resume should be catchy enough so that he is willing to call you for an interview, right? So that would be the first thing. Having certifications with your degrees would add to your skill. Of course, you should have your own knowledge, because just having certification is not enough. You will need to put in effort to learn the subject. If you are sitting in front of the interviewer, you should be able to handle the questions. You should be able to answer them in a nice way, polite way, plus the negotiation. Now, all this form a part of soft skills. So you will be given a 16 hours of soft skills seminar, on which you will be helped with the preparing your CV. How should you be, presenting yourself, and several soft skills which are required. Now, over the years, you will come across people who would not know exactly how to present yourself. So the soft skills would be amazing and a very interesting uh, topic for a lifetime. It would work not only in your workplace but even otherwise. It gives you a little polish to your personality, right? You have to online free access of advanced Excel and GST ebook. So that is a two extra which will be available online. You will be given once you enroll in the course, you will be provided with a login ID and a password, wherein you will be able to access this online books, which is the advanced Excel and GST. And apart from this, even whatever modules I have just spoken about, right, you will get recordings and notes available on your account on time to time basis, right? So this is a overall bad course. The combination, the major focus on the combination is that we should learn more practicals. How does it work practically? I should know the theory, of course. We will start with the theory. But eventually, after I have completed my theory, I should know how that theory should be implemented practically. So that is going to be the focus in each module. That how does it work? Now, EduPristine, like I'm one of the faculties for EduPristine. EduPristine has mostly there are chartered accountants on board, so you should not have a problem with the faculty. These are all experienced faculties. They have been in the industry since many years. You will be given hands-on training on Tally, Busy, Tab, Excel. Like I mentioned, the practical learning, the practical aspect is the focus of this course. The lecture recordings. Now, every session which we cover, you will get the recordings on your LMS. We call it as LMS account. So you will be provided a LMS account, and You will get all the recordings, all the notes available on your account, right? You will get career support. Now, career support, what does career support mean? Now, EduPristine is associated with several companies. Okay. Now, if you see, it has till now, EduPristine, there are several participants who have been hired with several companies associated with EduPristine. Now, EduPristine is going to give you 100% of career support, wherein you will have to. EduPristine is going to give you an opportunity and place you an interview, but you will have to polish yourself and learn from the take the best from this course so that you can present yourself at your best in the interview. So you don't get direct opportunities in big companies. So EduPristine will have a major role to play there, right? Okay. Now, what are the certifications I was talking about? So you are going to get, if you enroll in this course, you will get 4 certifications. That is, one certification is you are doing this course, that is a business accounting and taxation course. You get a certificate for busy accounting software. You get a certificate for SAP and a certificate for GST. So these are the certificates which will add to your CV, right? Okay. Now, if any one of you has any questions about the course or about whatever I have just spoken, like what are we going to do in the course, or if you want to learn something new, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can talk to me.
Ma'am, what are batch timings?
Okay, the batch timings, which are you in Mumbai? Where are you?
Yes, Mumbai, Kandivali.
Okay, all right. Usually we have a weekday batches and weekend batches. So weekday batches are depending on if we have evening batches, we can have evening batches, that is say 3 to 7 or 4 to 8. And Sunday batches are between 10 to 6. So either they are a 4 hour, I'm talking about a weekend batch. Weekday batches are the 4 hour batches, but weekend batches are sometimes 8 hour batches. Or we've split it to 4 hours. That is either 10 to 2 or 3 to 7. But that would depend. So that you can talk to your coordinator and about if you have any issues with a job if you're working somewhere. So many people, we have many participants who are working on weekdays to enroll for weekends, and they want the course to complete quickly. For that reason, for them we keep the batches for 8 hours on Sundays. So that is 10 to 6, so that the course gets completed sooner. And since they are working, they want to change the job. So with the certification, they have a brighter chance to change the job. So tell me, anything related to the course, anything which you would like to know about the course? Yes.
Are the exam as tough as CS, and what are the passing percentage?
Okay, this is a very practical course. Like it is not an exam point of view. Like if you're doing a professional course, or if you're doing a degree course, at the back of your mind you are having that I'm going to appear for an exam and I need to clear that exam. No, you're doing this course for a lifetime. So the focus is, don't think about the passing percentage of this course. Rather focus on ki, once I do this course, I should be polished enough that I should get a good job. with a good package. So don't worry about the passing percentage or that you will clear. So don't worry about that. If you're skilled, if you're interested enough to learn something new, that wouldn't be a problem. So focus is very practically, like, even when I'm conducting lectures for the BAT course, my focus is you should learn the practical stuff, that if today you go to some company, you should know what you're doing. So that is the idea behind it. So very practical, you will have a very practical approach, and this will be helpful for you for a lifetime. We do not want to, like, after you finish your degree and once you give the exam, you forget whatever you have done. So we don't want that here. So that's the catch.
Yeah. So what is the duration of this course? Is it 6 months or a yearly?
It will complete around 6 months.
Okay. So even if we what is a study on weekend or weekdays, it is 6 months course, right?
uh See, if on weekends it's a 8 hour, if it goes
Okay.
for around 8 hours, then approximately by 7 months it should complete. So you can just divide it by, if I just see the hours are 192 hours. So you can just divide it by
Yes.
either 4 or 8. So, my experience has been, okay, in 6 to 8 months, it should complete.
Yeah. Then talking about the salary, how it will benefit me in getting more getting more pay in other company, like when I finish this course, because
Okay, you
when I
are
looked at
already
the
working
salary.
right now?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm working.
okay. Right now, if you're already working, meaning you have a little skill set already. You know what is the requirement of the market, right? Now,
Yes.
once you do this course, now, like I already explained you on what we are going to focus on. Okay, now, when you take a jump, or when EduPristine, or if you come across some other good opportunity, or EduPristine provides you with some good interviews, now your plus point there would be that extra skill set which you have created. Now what happens there, I'll directly come to the point. Now suppose you are at executive accounts level. Okay, now if you have sufficient skill set, you can skip the two stages, you can directly apply for a higher position. So that is the benefit you're getting, because
So
the
it
whole
doesn't
idea is a
yes, it
skill set.
doesn't matter experience, right? So if I have a certification on my hand, it will help me to move up to second, third level, right? So they won't
So
expect
you
me to
have
have
experience,
experience.
you are having experience right now. I am
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
from
I
your
have
point of
experience.
view. I
Yes,
am
yes, I
talking
have
from your point
experience,
of
but
view.
thing is the domain which I'm working is not related to this accounting and taxation.
Okay,
It
what
is
domain
quite a
are
bit
you?
different.
What domain are you working for?
Actually, I'm working in mortgage process, Have you heard mortgage disclosure?
Yeah. So which company are you working for?
Infosys.
Infosys. Oh, even the company is good. Okay, your experience does count. So don't don't say that your experience doesn't count. Whatever you learn in life, with
No,
related to your
experience
work
does count,
experience.
but the thing is, like when I apply for accounting or taxation, the
Yeah, the
company.
certification will work, because here the certification will be given importance. Why, I'll tell you. When you have certification, the certification gives you a chance to land you an interview. Now when you land a interview, now it would be on your skill set. How do you impress that interviewer? So there are two parts to it. How do I get an interview? Now, if I talk about a fresher, that fresher may not land up with an interview. So you have an upper hand there, that if I have a certification, that interviewer will be interested that, yeah, this person knows something. So let me call him. Now it is your skill set to negotiate, to work around, and to show that, yeah, I am skilled enough for this position.
Yeah, does it helps me in
Yeah,
getting
of course it
a
will.
big raise or something
Yeah,
what I expect?
because that will, but plus that your set should work, huh? You should learn sufficient enough so that you are able to tell that interviewer that I have that much of experience and I can do that work. So that is the whole idea, that is a combination of your own skill set too.
Okay, and talking about SAP course, I heard it is a vast course, and how will you able to cover all this in one go? Because I heard from my colleagues and relatives, they said SAP is kind of a vast course. It takes much time, and
See,
it
SAP runs, if you want to learn the full SAP course, it will cost you around 1.52 lakhs.
yes, yeah, I know.
Okay,
That is the reason
that
I
you're
asked you how
talking.
will
No,
you.
that's what I started with. That SAP is a very huge module, but as an accountant, you do not require to learn the full module. You only require to learn the part of it, which is FICO, finance and control. If you just go online, the SAP will throw you several modules. SAP has several branches to it. So you have the HR module, you have the MM module. For every department, SAP has a different module. But you don't need to learn how every department works. For sales, for marketing, for advertising, for each department, SAP has a different branch. Now, for us as an accountant, my FICO module is important. That is finance and control. So we are going to learn the finance and control module, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
will
and
work in
also
your
for
favor.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
fine. Yeah, and also for GST, I didn't see any exams coming up for GST like regularly. I heard it is a good course, like it benefits us, those who are in accounting, those who are in accounts domain. But I haven't seen any exams coming up in
Okay,
few
what
like
kind of
in,
exams are you talking about?
no, like how we used to have like if you do CMA, CA, or any accounting related course. But I haven't seen any exam related thing for GST
No,
as
for
of now.
GST, certification courses go around. Even the Institute of Chartered Accountancy Institute offers you a GST certification courses. Now, the benefit in GST here with this certificate would be you have two opportunities. One is you're working for someone, okay, and another opportunity, especially for Tally, GST, and income tax module. For these three modules, you have one more opportunity arising, which is you can create your own client base. You can be a professional if you have sufficient knowledge of how income tax returns work, how TDS returns work, and how GST returns and registration, etc. works. Okay, in that case, you can be a GST professional. You can have your own clients. You can charge them for their returns, for registering, or for writing accounts for them. So with the certification, you will have a extra, you will have a little confidence on yourself that, yeah, instead of working for someone else, I can work for myself. So that will be an extra benefit there.
Does it
And
require
you
to pass an assessment or something to get a GST certification course, or we can just attend and know all the basics?
attend what? You're talking about the BAT course?
No, GST, for GST particularly, I'm asking for GST. Like, does it
We
need
have a
to
separate,
pass an assessment or something?
if you just want to do even GST course, you will be able to do. See, whatever modules I showed you here, so all these modules, in this modules, if you want to choose, then only the first module is compulsory, and the rest of the module, if you want to combine some modules, say you only want to learn GST, then you can take module 1 and 2.
Yeah, that is the reason I asked you before
Yeah,
that
so
all
that
these
is
modules
available.
come under one
Yeah,
one
they
go.
are under one, but if you're only wanting to learn GST, in that case you can talk to your coordinator. The person will give you a call, and the first module is compulsory because you can't learn GST directly, because you need to know the basics and tally.
Yes,
So for
yes.
that reason, the module 1 is always compulsory. The whole course, doing the whole course of BAT is always preferable, because by doing the whole course, you know what your interest is. If you're interested in SAP, because SAP gives a very good opportunity to accountants in the market. Because no company is ready to hire people if you have no knowledge of SAP. So even if you have little knowledge of SAP, it always works in your favor. Finalization. So, if you're learning GST, then finalization is important. What is the use of writing accounts and not knowing finalization? So if you have your own client base, okay, if you're going to have your own clients for whom you're going to write accounts, okay, so you can write accounts, you can do GST work for them, then you will also need to close their accounts at the end of the year and then file their income tax returns, correct? So in
Yes.
this way, all the modules are interconnected. But if you
Yeah.
only want
So
to do GST, you can talk to your, whoever calls you up. The salesperson will call each one of you and know your requirements.
yeah, and the companies which you showed in a slide. So
Yeah.
are these companies you have tie up with the like you
Yeah,
got
EduPristine has tie-up with several companies. These are just a few companies I have mentioned here, but there are several companies which have a tie-up with EduPristine. So
yeah,
now,
I've been
whenever
to
they
your
have,
office before when I was in Bangalore, like say 6 to 8 months before. I have been to
okay,
your office, and I got a rough idea about what EduPristine works and how it works, everything.
okay.
Just want to know, like, does it helps me to get placed in any, like,
Yeah,
in all
see,
these
placing
companies, like?
that is a see, whatever company opportunity, see, suppose there is a company who has a requirement. So they send, they send a mail to EduPristine saying so and so is our requirement. Now, EduPristine will help you land an interview. Now, how do you crack that interview is on you.
Yes, yes.
So that
No,
is your skill set.
does it add an advantage to
Of
me?
course,
Like,
it will.
I came from this institute, so
Yeah.
does it
So
helps me
having an
in?
interview is helps you out because most of the companies, big companies, if you see, they do not they do not offer jobs in the market very okay, anyone and anyone can apply for our jobs. You'll not find that kind of approach for most of the companies, and if they have that kind of approach, they do not offer you that kind of a package. So here the plus point is that you are directly getting a interview land with a particular position. Have you cracked the interview is now in your hands. So that will be the end
Yeah, yeah, and
idea.
I heard people will help you out if you couldn't
Yes.
crack the interview, and
Yes,
like
they will. That is
at what what is it portion you were not able to answer. So particularly to that portion, we will help you out by setting up an interview, like called the mock interview, like that
see,
they told
yes,
me.
the
So
soft
is it
skills.
true?
Yeah, the soft skills. Actually, the soft skills session is planned in that way. In soft skills, they will teach you, like they will discuss with you how your resume should be prepared, how you should be, you know, uh, presenting yourself in an interview while you're doing the course. Okay, while every module is being done. Okay, in every module there are certain questions. Like for example, when I said that what is accounts payable, what is accounts receivable. Now these are to to hear them, it's a very simple word, but these are interview questions. In MNCs, people love to ask what is TDS payable, what is TDS receivable. Give me a transaction for TDS payable. Now we will give you those questions. Okay, these are common questions which can be asked. You should be aware of it while you're you know uh, attending some interview or talking to someone. You should be updated, but how do you update yourself? Like once the course gets completed, you can't keep going back to the same notes, right? The notes keep updating every year. So how do you upgrade yourself? So we'll also tell you how do you upgrade yourself with the help of whatever knowledge you have acquired. So yes, you will be taught how mock interviews work. If you are not able to crack some interview, uh, there is a team of people in EduPristine. They will help you out how your resume should look, how the interview should be appeared, and all this will be if you have any query from your side, even, we will help you out there. If you are stuck somewhere, you will be helped. Right? So resume building, interview preparation, the placement leads, this will be done. This will be supported by EduPristine. Anyone else? If you have, Sonu had a question about what is the course fee. Shravani had a same question. Okay, someone will call you up, and they will inform you about the fees part, because I'm not sure about the fees part since I'm from the faculty team. So I'm not certain about the fees part. So I'm not going there. But if you have anything with respect to the course, I can help you out, since I'm experienced enough to answer that kind of question. Since I'm doing the thing, that is my thing. Right.
Course enrollment is open throughout the year.
Yes. At any point of time, if you feel you want to enroll in this course, it's always open. You can talk. You must be having some connection with the coordinator. You can coordinate with that person. If you're unable to attend, if you enroll for the course, okay, and for some reason you are unable to attend a few lectures, then you will be provided with recordings, and plus you can re-attend the course in some other batch, so that we don't want you to lose whatever you have missed out. If you have any kind of queries, you can always, we are always open. The faculty team is always open for queries. We will be wanting to help you out to the best of the possible availability. It's a approximately 192 hours course, and all the faculties are experienced enough. They have been working in the industry since several years. Like even for myself, like I told you, the timings, you can talk with your coordinator whatever suits you. If there's some course timing which is not suiting you, the weekday is not suiting you, you can opt for the weekend. So that will be the choices you have. It will get over in at the best 6 to 7 months. Right? You have online and offline courses. That is a classroom courses. The positions which you are seeing, the positions which you apply for, okay, you need to be confident that I can apply for this position and I have the skill set to handle that position. If you have the skill set to handle that position, that no position is out of range. Because only experience doesn't work. You will find people who are experienced enough, but they don't have sufficient experience about everything. They only have experience about a certain field where they have been working for years. Then it is not relevant. Even your skill set is equally relevant. You need to upgrade yourself. That is equally relevant in today's scenario. Now, today in COVID-19 scenario, you have seen several people have lost their jobs, but there is also an equal opportunity and people are looking out for skilled employees. So there's always an opportunity for accountants. This is one. Accounts is finance, especially such a subject wherein it can never go out of, out of work. Those people can never go out of work. You'll always have some work. Okay. No other questions? Okay, you people are able to mute yourself, and if you have any questions, you can tell me. Otherwise, I'll wind up from my side. This was about the BAT course. I hope you are able to take the best benefit you can. It is a requirement in today's market, right? All right. If you have no questions, I'll wind up. Someone from the team, from the EduPristine team, will give you a call. If you have any questions regarding apart from the course, like the timings or the fees, etc., you can talk to that person. All right, individually. All right. Seeing there are no questions, I'm winding up. Thank you.